Hey, SAPrayernet, God bless you, God bless you. Listen, I know that it's been a while, but I have some great news because many of the prayer targets that we've been praying, God has been confirming to us that we've been hitting the mark, not just in the spirit, but literally we are able to see it in the natural, even to the point where laws have been passed on some of the things that we've been praying. And I'm going to show them to you because a lot of laws passed actually on September the 1st, 2023. So I'm going to show you a couple of clips that when we sent out these prayer targets, and then I'm going to show you how those prayers was answered. Hey, how you doing, SAPrayernet? God bless you. I'm here with my lovely wife, Prophetess Teresa Wallace, and we want to share the prayer targets that we know that the Lord is putting on our heart, and so that all of us, we can come together in unity and we can pray.
And God said that He will not have us ignorant of the enemy's devices. And so therefore, God is a God of strategy. And He will give a strategy against the enemy's tactic and schemes. But we have to have a spiritual awareness of what's going on in the spirit. We have to be able to see, we have to be able to hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying and revealing to us as we are in prayer, inquiring of God so that we will know exactly what we're coming against.
God gave prayer targets as a strategy to aid us and guide us as we did warfare in the spirit.
The thing I want us to pray for is our government. Now, I know that as kingdom people, many people would say that all we should be concerned about is preaching the gospel and let God work out the rest. But I believe the truth is this, is that if we're not concerned about policies and what the government is doing, we're going to find that our children are going to be in a worse state than ever before.
As we prayed for our government, nearly 800 new laws went into effect on September 1st, 2023. They impact education and our roadways and impose tougher penalties for crimes from street racing to fentanyl trafficking. There was widespread support for most of the laws.
One of the things that's been on both of our hearts is the sex trafficking issue. We want to continue to pray for the sex trafficking.
Number of other laws on crime that are going into effect. One in particular, though, increases the penalty when it comes to human trafficking. Let's go to my colleague, Sarah Duran, who is covering that part of the story. Good morning to you, Sarah.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Marvin, to you as well. This is going to be a House bill. It's called the No Trafficking Zone Law. Now, this bill upgrades the criminal penalty for human trafficking at certain locations. This includes schools, shelters, and foster care facilities. Now, starting today, human trafficking at these spots will now be classified as a first-degree felony, meaning offenders could be charged up to 99 years, or rather could face up to 99 years in prison if convicted. Now, previously, the maximum punishment was only 20 years. Now, according to research provided by the bill's author, Representative Sean Theory, child victims of human trafficking nationwide have a history within the welfare system, and some of the most vulnerable children are right here in San Antonio, according to Roy Moss Youth Alternatives. Now, leadership for the advocacy group here in San Antonio, which also has a residential treatment center, believes this bill will help to safeguard children at these facilities.
We're thrilled anytime more progress is made to protect children. I mean, the world is a dangerous place, but for locations that specifically care for children, that should be a given, that they should be profoundly safe for children.
And that was Julie Healy with Roy Moss. She said this type of abuse runs deep for our youth. They treat, so this extra layer of security this bill adds brings them hope traffickers will stay away. And again, this bill takes effect today. It's one of several hundred bills that were passed this legislative session. We're live this morning on the Northwest Side. Sarah Duran, KENS 5.
Need to address is that we need to pray for the women. And when I'm talking about women, I'm talking about biological women born that way. Because I believe that the women in our time, they're under attack. That's one of the things that the enemy wants to do. He wants to pervert everything. And you know, the perversion just basically means twisting the truth. And so we want to pray that God will cover them because it is His desire and it is His heart.
Competing in high school sports currently requires students to be on teams based on their gender identity at birth. SB 15, called the Save Women's Sports Bill, would make that apply to all college sports teams in Texas, organized by public universities and colleges. A hearing was held Monday, in the House Higher Education Committee.
1, 2, 3,
Representative Valerie Swanson, during an afternoon news conference, announced that she has almost 90 co-sponsors for SB 15, more than enough to clear the House chamber.
The bill does not keep anyone from playing sports. It just says that everyone must play by their biological sex, which is the only common sense way to divide up athletics.
Speaking for SB 15 was Riley Gaines, a former collegiate swimmer. Gaines was joined by other female athletes at the Texas Capitol to testify.
There's so much at stake here, not just athletic opportunities. Think of what sports gives women in terms of their leadership skills, in terms of things that translate far beyond just those 4 years in college or those high school endeavors in sports. So emotional is a good word.
Senate Bills 12 and 15 set boundaries when it comes to gender and identity. Senate Bill 15, also known as the Save Women's Sports Act, will prohibit transgender athletes from participating in sports with competitors opposite of their biological gender, regardless of their sexual identity.
Women's sports, women's records, women's teams, women's locker rooms, all are jeopardized when biological men are allowed to compete for those titles.
I want us to pray for our children, for the protection of our children. You know, they're trying to indoctrinate our children to believe all these different pronouns. But when it comes down to it, we know that a boy is a boy and a girl is a girl. And that's God's wisdom, not man's indoctrination. So we want to pray that our children are not affected by that they're not deceived by that parents don't allow their children to be deceived by that, and that we will stand up and we will pray and we will stop this indoctrination. But first, let's stop it in the spirit, and then we're going to, through prayer, and then we're going to stop it in the natural as God gives us the strategies to act against it.
Senate Bill 12 restricts kids from attending drag shows and other sexually oriented performances. Doing so will result in a $10,000 fine for the person who owns the venue or business where those performances take place.
We must continue to pray for our children because although SB 12 was signed into law by the Texas governor to protect children from drag shows, a federal judge in Houston has put a temporary block on the bill until Friday.
Hey, I want to thank you again for praying with us. Thanks to you, we've reached our prayer target of 550 intercessors. And as you know, our goal is 1,000 intercessors. I do have another prayer target that I want us to pray. Actually, there's 3. I want us to pray for Officer Danny Diaz, and I want us to pray for the SAPD Police Department. He is one that leads the SAPD. He always wants to better the San Antonio Police Department, so that's why we need to pray for him. And he wants to continually strengthen the police department with integrity as well.
Top story tonight. It's been a week like no other. Several San Antonio officers shot in the line of duty.
Now law enforcement partners say it's taking a toll.
We're in a situation now that we've never been in before. With the amount of officers that have been injured, it's kind of a somber mood right now.
5 officers were hurt during 3 separate shootings. 4 of them were hospitalized.
Let's go live to KENS 5 reporter Hannah Tita. And Hannah, all of these officers are expected to recover.
That's right, and law enforcement partners tell us there's been a huge outpouring of support from the community. This has been a really rough week for the San Antonio Police Department. Today, the police union told us it's unprecedented.
It's disheartening.
A department reeling after a week of bloodshed. Last Thursday, 3 San Antonio officers were hurt trying to arrest this man.
Tried to offer him medical aid and he wouldn't have.
A source tells us one officer lost an eye, another was shot multiple times. Yesterday, another double police shooting. Investigators say an officer was injured trying to stop a man from firing at cars on a highway. Another was shot trying to recover a stolen vehicle.
Police officers aren't afraid of doing their job right now. I will tell you, morale's at an all-time low.
Police Officers Association President Danny Diaz says he met with those wounded officers.
It's going to take time. It's not easy.
Diaz knows this firsthand. Policeman was also shot on the job.
We're able to tell them things of, hey, this is what to expect. This is what's coming next.
Diaz says counseling services are being offered to the entire force.
And then the last thing I want us to pray, I want us to continue to pray this. Continue to pray that the wealth of the wicked will be transferred to the righteous. I believe God wants to do a great work with that. And if we continue to believe God and to trust God, we're going to see some mighty things that God is going to do. God bless you. I love you. Thank you for allowing me to share with you. And I look forward to sharing with you on the next time.